Hi guys! So this week I am going to do my video on the mandated reporting requirement. So I am completing my placement, just as a recap, in the Groton Public School System, which is in Connecticut. So Connecticut law requires certain citizens to report suspected child abuse and neglect. These mandated reporters are people in professions or occupations that have contact with children whose primary focus is children. So if an individual reports in good faith, they are immune from civil and criminal liability. However, if somebody is aware that child abuse or neglect is happening, they could receive a fine up to $500. So, with that being said, I also want to add in that at the end of the guidelines, it talks about how if a report has been made maliciously or is not true, then somebody can receive a fine of up to $2,000 and up to a year in jail, or both. So I thought that was interesting to note. So the list of individuals who are considered mandated reporters in the state of Connecticut are the following. So, battered women's counselors, chiropractors, child advocates and any employee of the Office of the Child Advocate, dental hygienists and dentists, anybody who works for the Department of Children and Families, the Department of Public Health employees who are responsible for the licensing of child daycare centers, group daycare homes, and family daycare homes or youth camps. Family relational counselor trainees who work for the Judicial Department, family relations counselors, and family services supervisors who also work for the Judicial Department. Foster parents, alcohol and drug counselors, emergency medical service providers, marital and family therapists, interns at any hospital, resident interns, resident physicians, practical nurses, professional counselors, surgeons, medical examiners, members of the clergy, which I thought was interesting because I believe it was Nathan who spoke about in his mandated reporting video that not all members of the clergy are required to report, if I remember correctly, in his state. Mental health professionals, optometrists, parole officers, and that's for both juvenile and adult parole officers. Persons who are paid to care for children, persons who provide services to and have regular contact with students, pharmacists, physical therapists, physician assistants, podiatrists, police officers, probation officers, and again that's for juvenile or adults, psychologists, registered nurses, school administrators, school coaches, school guidance counselors, paraprofessionals, superintendents, teachers, sexual assault counselors, social workers, and substitute teachers. The mandated reporters are required to report or cause a report to be made when, in the ordinary course of their employment or profession, they have reasonable cause to suspect or believe that a child under the age of 18 has been abused, neglected, or is placed in imminent risk of serious harm. Child abuse occurs where a child has had physical injury inflicted upon him or her other than by accidental means, has injuries at variance with history given of them, or is in a condition resulting in maltreatment such as, but not limited to, malnutrition, sexual molestation or exploitation, deprivation of necessities, emotional maltreatment or cruel punishment, and child neglect occurs where a child has been abandoned, is being denied proper care and attention, physically, emotionally, or morally, and is being permitted to live under conditions, circumstances, or associations injurious to his well-being. So the state of Connecticut also gives a list of things that a mandated reporter should have when making a report. So this includes the name and address of the child and his parents or anybody else who's been responsible for him, maybe whether it's a foster home or living with a relative or whatever the case. The child's age and gender, the nature and extent of the child's injury or injuries, maltreatment, or neglect, the approximate date and time that the injuries happened, information concerning any previous injury or injuries, the circumstances in which they happened, the name of the person or persons suspected to be responsible for causing the injuries or maltreatment or neglect, the reasons such persons or person are suspected of causing such injury, and any information concerning any prior cases in which such person or persons have been suspected. And also whatever action, if any, was taken to treat, provide shelter, or otherwise assist the child so that they're not being left in whatever harm they were found. So I thought that was kind of nice. So mandated reporters are, they must report orally to the Department of Children and Families or law enforcement agency within 12 hours of suspecting that a child has been abused or neglected, and must make a written report, which is referred to as a 136, to DCF within 48 hours of making an oral report. So, also to add, when a mandated reporter, if they're working for a facility, they must also report it to whoever is running that facility. And then if the report has been made to the police, the police must report it to DCF immediately. So the other part that was kind of nice is that mandated reporters are required to give their name when they make a report to DCF. However, reporters may request anonymity to protect their privacy. So the person who they're making the report against doesn't have to know who they are. So this means that DCF would not disclose their identity unless they're mandated to do so by law. So that would be to other DCF employees, law enforcement officers, if a state attorney is necessary, assistant attorney general is necessary, a judge, or any state child care licensing agency. So that's pretty much it, guys. I apologize that I went over a little bit. Oh, I apologize. There's one other thing I wanted to add. So the state of Connecticut offers training for mandated reporters if, like, the facility that you work in or wherever you're at doesn't actually provide it for you. But it's upon request. So I just thought that was a nice thing, and I wanted to add that. So again, I apologize that I've gone over. So I'm going to sign off here, and I will add a question into my actual post. All right, thanks, guys.